Good afternoon, I'm Sean Yao, and this is One News Now. After the quick shift back to stricter lockdown for Metro Manila and nearby provinces starting tomorrow, Malacanang sought to clarify the details of last night's announcement. Joining us is News 5's Maricel Halile from Mandaluyong to tell us more. Mase, can you give us a quick recap on what happened earlier at the 12 noon briefing from the palace? Are there new guidelines for MECQ or more exceptions this time around?
Sean, based on the explanation of presidential spokesperson Roque in his briefing earlier, it seems that there are no changes on the original omnibus guidelines released by the Interagency Task Force for the places under the modified enhanced community quarantine. But just to recap, some of the guidelines under MECQ are: number one, there should be strict home quarantine in all households, meaning those ages 21 years old and below and 60 years old and above are not allowed or discouraged to go out of their houses unless it is really necessary, like if they need to buy essential goods. And there will be a limited access or allowance in going out, like if they have to buy essential goods, like what I said, and if they are part of those people allowed to get out of their houses, like the workforce. But of course, the industries are also limited under MECQ. Next, for places under MECQ, individual outdoor exercise are also limited to biking, jogging, walking. There won't be any non-contact sports in these places. Mass gatherings are also not allowed. They will allow religious activities, provided that they will limit the attendance up to 5 persons only. Aside from that, of course, there won't be face-to-face classes in all levels. Public transportation are not allowed once again. So those who have private vehicles will only be allowed to go out. Motorcycles are allowed, tricycles are not allowed, but back riding, motorcycle back riders are also not allowed in places under MECQ.
All right, let's talk about cash subsidies. A lot of people are asking if there will be a fresh round now that NCR is back under MECQ. Is that an update? Is there SAP 2?
Sean, we actually asked Secretary Roque about the possible third tranche of the amelioration program, but Secretary Roque said that to be able to do that, it should pass into law. So it should be part of the Bayanihan too. For now, all they can do is that they have to assess the capabilities of DSWD and the local government unit if they have enough funds to provide additional assistance to those people who will be affected in places under MECQ. That's all they can do while waiting for the Bayanihan 2 to be passed.
All right. Did Secretary Roque also mention anything regarding where we are in the fight against COVID-19? Are we winning this time around? Are we losing this time around? Or is it too early to say anything on that?
Probably it's better to quote Secretary Galvez. He said that we are in a critical phase right now because of the increasing number of COVID cases. As we all know, we are already in 103,000. We have already recorded 103,000 COVID cases because of the 5,000 additional new cases reported yesterday. But Malacanang officials said that we cannot say that we are losing the battle just because we are heeding to the calls of medical frontliners to place Metro Manila back to MECQ. It simply means that the government is listening to the calls of our frontliners. But like what I said earlier, Secretary Galvez admitted that we are in a critical phase because of the increasing number of COVID cases. But they promised that they will do anything just to improve our situation. That includes the expansion of bed capacity in some hospitals. And he also mentioned that although we have increasing number of COVID-19 cases, there's nothing to be alarmed of, because this a situation all over the country. Even big countries like America and Europe are also facing the same problem. So we still have to wait for the vaccine to end this pandemic.
All right, there is also some clarification that happened, Mase, regarding President Duterte's remark about revolution with the medical community, or addressing the medical community. How did Palace spokesman Roque address this or explain this?
It was actually surprising. We were actually surprised last night when we heard the president mentioning that particular statement about revolution on the call of the frontliners. Secretary Roque earlier explained that what drives the president to say those statements is that, number one, some of the medical frontliners who have complaints with how the government is handling the situation go directly to the media and stated their position instead of going directly to the president and tell them their complaints. So probably that's one of the reasons why President Duterte was disappointed with the statement of some of the frontliners. And number two, the statement of the frontliners came in time with some criticisms coming from the opposition, particularly Senator Drilon and Vice President Leni Robredo. If you recall, Sean, Senator Drilon even said that the government's effort against COVID-19 can be considered as a failure because of the increasing number of the COVID-19 cases. And of course, it doesn't sit well with the Malacanang. And aside from that, number three, Secretary Roque also mentioned that there was this song from Les Miserables about revolution that probably become a trend in the internet, and that's also one of the reasons why President Duterte mentioned those statements last night.
Right, thank you for summing up the 12 noon briefing for us. Maricel Halili of News 5, thank you for joining us. And here are other stories we're keeping our eyes on. The Philippine National Police will be setting up more checkpoints in and around Metro Manila and other provinces that will be shifting back to a modified enhanced community quarantine starting tomorrow. The PNP reminds the public that only authorized persons will be allowed to go out in MECQ areas until August 18. Senate is also set to go on lockdown for 2 weeks in support of the frontliners' call for a timeout. Senate President Tito Soto says virtual hearings will still be ongoing, particularly on the alleged PhilHealth scam and for bilateral or bicameral committee meetings for Bayanihan 2. And the PBA says it will be postponing the resumption of players' training after Metro Manila's shift back to MECQ. The league said swab tests for the players scheduled later this week will also be pushed back. For more updates, follow News 5, The Philippine Star, and Business World online. Visit our website, onenews.ph, for more in-depth analysis. You can also catch One News on the Signal Play app. Register for a free account now at www.signalplay.com and stream One News live anytime, anywhere. I'm Sean Yao, and we are One News.